What is light? Light is filtered darkness. If we look at the electromagnetic spectrum, at least the spectrum that we are aware of, promille of this spectrum in proportion is the light emission, the emission of atoms. What we see, what we process with our optics, evolutionary developed from a little opsin processing cell when we were still bugs, eukaryotes. Oh well, that was a long time ago. Now, humanity, for most of the time, developed its civilization in bright sunlight. That means we developed solar civilizations. We developed lunar calendars and so on, but by and large, humanity is a solar civilization synthesizing light at night in the cities with your lamps, with your neon signs, with your signifiers of everything else. What does it mean metaphysically? Metaphysically speaking, there are entities and beings within the light spectrum, and they do not go beyond it. There are entities in the, let's call it, infrared spectrum and ultraviolet spectrum, up to gamma, down to X, and even further. There are entities that may, in this model, span from infrared through the light spectrum through ultraviolet. That means I call it the scanning capacity of what a given metaphysical entity is capable of perceiving. Now, there are plenty of weird monsters and hybrids in the infrared and ultraviolet. Monsters to humans, although intelligent beasts to themselves. So what does it bring us to? To the de-anthropocentric spectacle of manifold forms, identities, larvic intelligence, high intelligence, hive intelligences, collective intelligence, xenomorphic intelligences, and so on and so on. Now, exploring all this, you bring it back to the human spectacle and you point the finger to the moon that is pointing back to yourselves. There's a book called Gods in Exile. And sooner or later, exploring the universe of this weirdness, the finger is pointing back at you and asking you, how do you define yourself as a human specimen? Perhaps through humaneness, perhaps through compassion, love, hate, heroic strife? How do you coin yourself? How do you pursue meaning? How do you create meaning? And so on and so on. Very vital questions. Now, what got me into this lecture? Well, let's say that during the old epiphany of the abyss, I managed to synthesize the shadow soul of a king cobra with some facilitators into vampire fangs. Vampire. Which means that this will survive my death, my physical death. You can bury me in acid, you can bury me at the stake, you can decapitate me and tear my flesh to shreds. That doesn't matter. I'll survive that anyway. How? Well, this thick, dense, skybeat-like Schwarze Sonne bioplasm is by and large indestructible. And the epiphany of the Black Sun is alike to the food of the gods. They regenerate themselves through chaos. Meaning that you need to descend to chaos, vitriol, tear a bit of this dense, thick form for yourself and build yourself, bathe your spirit in it in order to be a demigod. Not necessarily a vampire or a Varkolazzi. However, the ambrosia of gods is in the abyss. The ambrosia of gods is in chaos. So, don't take me wrong. The natural order of the aphenomenal, pre-phenomenal universe is complete utter darkness, spaceless, timeless, dark, without a single shard of light. Now, the order that I call the Mardukian order, was carved from Tiamat, from chaos. And all these stars and the universe and the beauties that we live on exoplanets populated with living beings, and all the metaphysical weirdness throughout the universe, whether through the hypersolar corridors of Hyperion or the tunnels of Set in the Schwarze Sonne aspect of the journeying through the stars in the universe, essentially is the same thing. Let's envision it through the Heliopolitan aspect, Heliopolitan theology, logo of the Noma of Heliopolis, that from the cosmic mud there emerged Proteus or Atum and started generating Tefnut and Shu. The justice, the world, the power, the act, the grammar of the universe, entombed in Ma'at, the cosmic principle of order and laws, just like Rita. So it is true, and the Greeks said that the world emerged from chaos. It didn't emerge ab nihilo, because this chaos was pure form. Pure form that condensed and spat out Proteus, breaking the shell of an egg. Then you have the universe expanding, at least in a phenomenal sense. So every myth, every legend, every way of transcribing reality that is objectively realized, even the ancient tales, if you read them correctly, you will understand a lot. And then you will understand that the physical sciences are but a shadow of those great narrations, of those myths that we describe in the measurable, scientifically observable, testable, physical objective universe that is a shadow of a shadow of a shadow of utter, complete, timeless, spaceless darkness, chaos. Thank you. And by the way, Sol Invictus, Eos, that beautiful wing of Mater Matuta.